I thought it might be interesting for you to see the instruments that my students are bringing with our ukulele unit in choir. So the first one is a Córdoba 15 CM. It's their basic entry-level model concert, although they do sell the Protege line, which is one level below this, sort of like Macala to Cala's relationship. It's set up very well. Action looks good, maybe a little high at the nut, so the nut could maybe come down a little bit, action there. But in general, it's decent. It's a laminate ukulele. Nice finish. Very standard bracing inside, so it's not notched, but just a standard strip. And it's a very comfortable ukulele. The edge binding helps so you don't get sharp fret ends. And the Córdoba has side dots. And that student actually has a nice hard case that they bought for that Córdoba. The next instrument I want to show you is the Aklot. This is the Aklot AKC23. I've done videos on these before. One of our students won this last year in a contest, and she continues to bring it to school with her for the ukulele unit. Aklots have a really nice finished edge. It's a solid top. It's made by Camise. And again, I've reviewed these before, and these are very affordable in the $60 range with a case. The case is okay. It's serviceable. It's a standard case. It comes with some accessories. Here's what this one sounds like. I personally like putting fluorocarbon strings on an Aklot. I think it really brings it out. The construction is very nice. It's clean. It's notched in there. It's really a nicely done ukulele, and this one has not been humidified at all in our Minnesotan winters, and no cracks on that front, which is that was one of the things I was worried about, is that it would crack, but no problem. So the frets are still feeling nice and smooth. And the side dots are there, but they're very, very light. They match the color of the neck on the Aklot. Here's one that I've seen for a while. It's the Idyllwild ukulele, and this one is made by Monoprice. It looks a lot like other manufacturers, has notched kerfing in there. It looks nicely built. It's a Sapele laminate. Action seems to be decent. It could go perhaps a little bit lower on the saddle. At the nut, it seems to be okay. And the Idyllwild does not have any side fret markers on it, just so that you're aware of that when you're considering an instrument. This etching makes it almost look like an Enya. And again, I probably would put different strings on here. These sell for about $30 on Monoprice, but you do have to pay for shipping on that. So not a bad little ukulele at all with closed geared tuners. No strap buttons on this one, however. And it also comes with a pretty decent bag. The bag reminds me a little bit of the bag that comes with my Martin. So no complaints there. And of course, you'll always get the venerable Cala KA15S. They're very standard soprano. You know, it's a newer one with a walnut fretboard and the walnut bridge. Inside, it just has, again, very standard bracing, very much like the Córdoba. And the fret ends can get a little sharp. This one's not so bad yet. Does have fret markers on the side. Here's what this one sounds like. With open geared tuners, and I think these are around the $45 to $50 range. The student has their own gig bag that they brought with it, very, very lightweight, so that's only going to keep it from getting scratched up. It won't keep it from any damage, But again, it's better than nothing. I had some students ask me what ukulele they could buy that would be rather inexpensive but still give them everything that they needed. And at the moment, there is an Enya KUC20 concert model. The model is the KUC20, and it's selling for under $45. And for that, you get a concert-sized ukulele. It is laminate. And it comes along with a clip neck strap. I'm not really a fan of that, but hey, it comes with it. Comes with a tuner and strings and a really nice gig bag, the Enya gig bag that is wonderful. So realistically, you would pay $25 to $30 for the gig bag by itself, and you're getting a ukulele included, or whatever way you want to think about it. Now, the things that I really like about Enya are that they have a really high standard of quality. The workmanship is good, the materials are good. If you take a look at this one, it has, I believe, the Rich Light fretboard and the Rich Light bridge, a compensated saddle, which you don't see in a lot of concerts, and standard geared tuners that say Enya tuners. And I think it's an akume or a mahogany neck, and there's a joint up at the top there and a joint in the heel that's very evident. You can see that it's also laminate by the sides because it's not bound, so you can see that. But the overall pattern is very nice, sort of a satin finish. The inside is really nice and clean. And sound-wise, so for a concert being under $45, that's incredible for an instrument that will last a student a very long time. So if you look at the action is wonderful. They come with Enya's fluorocarbon strings. A lot of people don't like them. I haven't liked them in the past. These don't feel too bad to me, so maybe they changed the formula a little bit. You could always drop Martin M600s on there, for example, but highly, highly, highly recommended. And just every Enya product that I've bought or that I've recommended to somebody else, just fantastic. So that is the Enya KUC20. It's the Sapele laminate. There are other laminate versions. You may not like this little extra floral symbol around the sound hole, but for $45, you really can't go wrong. The other instrument I want to show you is a student brought this today. It's the Donner. Now again, we have Donner hooks back there. And Donner has been making really affordable entry-level instruments and was also reviewed by GotAUkulele.com. And just taking a look, this is the first one that I've seen. This one is a soprano versus the concert, so it's a little smaller. Some things to note, this is the Donner DUS3. DUS3. It has kind of interesting colored buttons. Has these kind of enclosed but not tuners, which is kind of interesting. So you can see the gears, but they're enclosed in plastic. So it's kind of this best of both worlds. Has this crazy fretboard. And there are side dots on the side. And it's finished well. No complaints about frets there. It's laminate. Action is actually quite a bit high for me. So up here on this side at the nut, it could come down a little bit. Down here, it could come down quite a bit. So that is the one thing that I would say is Enyas seem to come really well thought out in terms of setup, whereas the Donner, like many import brands, you're going to have to take some time to have it set up correctly. The Donner also has just a simple slotted bridge where the Enya is a pull-through bridge. It doesn't make it any more difficult. There's some people who believe that this ends up in a better transfer of sound, but I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, I'm not sure, you'd have to have such scientific tests to kind of prove that, and the difference would be minuscule. But, so this would be a little bit easier to change strings on, and I would change the strings. For something like this, I would probably go for, again, a Martin, but I am a fluorocarbon fan. I also like the Aquila Sugars. I'm not such a big fan of the Super Nylgets, other than the kids that we use for teaching. On the inside of the Donner, the build is also pretty decent. No complaints there. Maybe a couple glue dots here and there, but it looks to be well built. And it looks to be kind of a laminate spruce top. So let's take a listen to that. Here we go. So that's the Donner DUS-3 that is also available via Amazon with a little bit of the sound rosette there. Has some binding on the side so you can't see the laminate there. And both of these come with buttons, so you can get a traditional strap. So does the Enya, which is really nice to see. I would not hesitate to recommend the Donner either. This seems to be a really solid little ukulele, although, again, you will want to probably adjust it for action, both at the nut a little bit and at the saddle. Whereas the Enya, for me, for all intents and purposes, that is just fine all the way across. Oh, and then also accessories. The Donner comes with a gig bag. It's not quite as nice as the Enya, but it's still pretty decent. And it also comes with a tuner as well with that kit.